Уважаемые дамы и господа, дорогие друзья,
Dear ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome all of you in Russia, in Vladivostok. On the onset of our meeting, I would like to say that one of our colleagues, Australian Prime Minister, had a very unfortunate tragedy in her family. Her father passed away. So I would like, on behalf of all of us, to express our condolences to her and members of her family, and welcome Australian Minister of Trade, who will be heading Australian delegation at the meeting. Once again, I want to welcome all of you in Vladivostok, the city that for over 150 years has been a stronghold of Russia here in the far eastern borders. Vladivostok is a modern, fast-growing city, true megapolis, which has huge business, financial potential, a place where East meets West, gateway of Russia to the broad Asia-Pacific region, gateway that is open for all of you, our Asia-Pacific region partners, and that provides rapid and most efficient route to Europe from the Asia-Pacific region. Dear colleagues, the 20th meeting of APEC Economic Leaders, an anniversary meeting, is taking place in the new premises of the Far East Federal University. And it gives me great pleasure that some of you colleagues mentioned specifically that they liked the venue of today's meeting. By the way, when we decided on the venue for today's meeting, we decided to host it here in Vladivostok, to use the opportunity to develop Vladivostok. We built the complex, the university campus, that immediately after our summit adjourns will be handed over to the university, young people, students, academia, and I hope that this university will become an educational and scientific center, not only attractive for the Far East of Russia, but for young people, scientists, scholars, researchers of the world. So I would like to use the occasion to invite your students and researchers to come here to study, to teach, and I would like to make a suggestion to all of you present here. We will send an official invitation to all of you to speak in front of the students, future students of this future university, and talk to them about your vision of the future of the region, of the world in general, to address students as professors, as keynote speakers. I'm sure you're going to find that interesting. And young people that are to study here will definitely greatly appreciate the opportunity. Today's meeting, plenary meeting, will be dedicated to two agenda items. First, trade and investment liberalization, regional economic integration. And second, strengthening supply chain of the region. Tomorrow we're going to talk about food security and promoting innovative growth. Let me start by saying a few words on the first point on our agenda, trade investment liberalization, regional economic integration. This topic is of great relevance for us, especially in the difficult economic situation today, that the recovery of the global economy is faltering. We can only overcome negative trends by enhancing volume of trade in goods, services, enhancing flow of capital. It is important to follow fundamental principles of open markets and free trade. Russia, as you know, has become a full-fledged member of the World Trade Organization. So I would like to thank all of you, colleagues, for your unwavering support to Russia's efforts of joining the organization. We are determined to make our contribution to drafting more fair rules and mechanisms of trade together with you at the global and regional levels, including in the APEC space. The priority goal is to fight protectionism together in all its forms, traditional and new alike. Russia suggested to introduce monitoring of environmental policy measures, come up with coordinated principles, regulation principles in this field, implementing our arrangements to reduce tariff rates for environmental goods was not easy. In accordance with APEC summit decision made in Honolulu by 2011, they should be reduced applied tariff rates to 5% or less by the end of 2015. We have achieved substantial progress in drafting the list. What's most important is that we are determined to continue moving towards the formulated goal in the spirit of the traditional consensus principle of APEC. I believe we should thank our experts that worked very hard preparing for today's meeting, and as a result of this work, managed to achieve acceptable solutions and compromise. Generally, I guess we can say that we already have specific outcomes of our meeting. I'm referring to these arrangements. Moving towards liberalization would help build transparency of bilateral and multilateral free trade agreements. Under our initiative, a model chapter on transparency was drafted to be included in FTA agreement, and it makes it mandatory to disclose substantial information on such measures. We need to give special attention to investment issues, improve business environment in the region. I believe that improvement of national dispute resolution system would serve that purpose, especially at pre-trial stage. We should also work on establishing similar mechanisms at the general APEC level. Let me say a few words about regional integration. I'm sure it holds the future, especially now that for many years we've seen Doha round of trade negotiations slippage. By getting together, lifting barriers, we encourage dynamic development of the entire Asia-Pacific region and global economy in general. It is important to build bridges, not walls. We should continue striving towards greater integration, broad dialogue between regional and sub-regional associations. It is in that direction that Russia will be moving, and we are moving. And this is precisely what we do in the former Soviet Union space. You have certainly heard about our integration efforts. I'm referring to the free trade area, in the CIS, the customs union, the single economic space between Russia, Belarus, and Kazakhstan. I suggest we exchange views on how we could encourage liberalization of trade and investment in the most efficient way and take full advantage of regional integration.